All right, let's dive into this fascinating world of your body's own bodyguard, the innate immune system.
Yeah.
You want to understand like the basics of how your body fights off, all those microscopic invaders.
Mhm.
So we're going to try to equip you with, I guess you could say, some serious knowledge here.
That's right. And we're not just going to talk about like the usual suspects like skin and mucus, although those are definitely important. We're going to dive deep into the cellular soldiers and the chemical weapons and even like the strategies your body uses to identify and eliminate threats.
Okay, so let's unpack this defense system a little bit. I'm picturing it kind of like a castle with multiple layers of security. You've got the outer walls, the moats, the guards patrolling.
Yeah, I like that analogy. And in this case, your skin is the first and most obvious barrier. It's way more than just like a covering. It's a dynamic, tightly woven structure with these tight junctions between the cells that make it incredibly tough for microbes to actually penetrate.
So it's not just about being like thick and tough, it's about being cleverly designed.
Exactly. And then you have the mucous membranes lining your respiratory digestive tracts. Just think of them like moats with sticky traps. That mucus is packed with antimicrobial substances and enzymes like lysozyme, which can actually break down bacterial cell walls.
Lysozyme, huh? Interesting. So it's not just trapping the invaders, it's actively trying to dismantle them.
Precisely. And those tiny hairs, you mentioned earlier the cilia. Remember the mucociliary escalator? They're constantly sweeping that mucus along with, any trapped debris and pathogens up and out of your airways.
Wow, it's amazing how much is going on behind the scenes that we never even think about. But what about the things that, actually manage to slip past these initial defenses? What happens then?
Well, that's when your body deploys its chemical weapons. Remember those antimicrobial peptides we talked about, the AMPs? They're like tiny smart bombs targeting and disrupting bacterial membranes.
Smart bombs, huh? So they're more sophisticated than just like poking holes.
Oh, much more. Take defensins, for example. They can not only punch holes in bacterial membranes, but also interfere with essential processes, inside the bacteria, effectively just shutting them down.
Wow, that's seriously impressive. It's like our bodies have a whole arsenal of like microscopic weapons at their disposal.
And the fascinating thing is that each type of AMP has its own specific targets and mechanisms of action. Some are better at tackling gram-negative bacteria, while others are more effective against fungi or viruses. It's a beautifully diverse system.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all approach. Our bodies have a specific weapon for each type of threat.
You got it. And that diversity is crucial because pathogens are constantly evolving, trying to find ways to evade our defenses.
It's like an evolutionary arms race with our bodies constantly adapting to stay, one step ahead of those microscopic invaders.
Exactly. But it's not just about the AMPs. Your body also utilizes other chemical defenses like sebum, that oily substance on your skin. Did you know that sebum actually creates a slightly acidic environment, making it less hospitable for many microbes?
That makes sense. It's kind of like how the stomach uses its high acidity to kill off most of the pathogens that we ingest. So we've got the physical barriers, the chemical weapons. What else is in this incredible defense system?
Well, no defense system is complete without an army, right? That's where the cellular soldiers of your innate immune system come in, the white blood cells or leukocytes.
Okay, we're finally getting to the cells themselves. I'm ready to meet these microscopic warriors.
And trust me, they're an impressive bunch. You've got your neutrophils, the frontline soldiers that rush to the site of infection and engulf bacteria through a process called phagocytosis.
Phagocytosis, that's where they basically eat the invaders, right?
Mm.
But I remember you mentioning something about a phagolysosome before. What exactly is that?
Right. So once a neutrophil engulfs a bacterium, it forms this membrane-bound vesicle called a phagosome. This phagosome then fuses with another vesicle called a lysosome, which is packed with digestive enzymes.
Ah, so the phagolysosome is like a microscopic stomach where the bacteria gets broken down and digested.
Precisely. It's a remarkably efficient system for eliminating pathogens. And it's not just neutrophils that use this strategy. Macrophages, another type of white blood cell, are also expert phagocytes, just patrolling tissues and gobbling up anything that shouldn't be there.
Okay, so we've got the neutrophils as the first responders and the macrophages as like the cleanup crew.
Mm.
Are there any other types of cells in this immune army?
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about the eosinophils, which are specialized in tackling larger parasites.
So they're like the heavy artillery brought in for those bigger threats.
Exactly. And then there are the natural killer cells, or NK cells, which are truly fascinating.
I remember you mentioning those before, the ones that can take out infected or cancerous cells. But how do they distinguish between a healthy cell and one that needs to be eliminated? It seems like a pretty crucial distinction.
It is, and they do it by recognizing specific markers on the surface of cells. Healthy cells display certain molecules that signal "don't kill me" while infected, or cancerous cells often lose those signals or express different ones that trigger the NK cell's attack.
That's amazing. It's like they have a built-in radar for identifying cells that have, gone rogue.
And they don't mess around when it comes to eliminating those threats. NK cells release these powerful enzymes that can induce apoptosis, program cell death in the target cell.
So they basically convince the infected or cancerous cell to self-destruct.
That's a good way to put it. It's a highly controlled process that minimizes collateral damage to the surrounding tissues.
Wow, this is incredible. It's like a microscopic battle going on inside us all the time, and we're completely oblivious. But I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface of this cellular army. There's got to be even more complexity there, right?
You're absolutely right. It's not just about the different types of cells. It's about the intricate network of communication and coordination between them. Think of it like an elaborate dance with each cell playing a specific role and, responding to cues from its partners.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how do these cells actually, communicate with each other? Do they have tiny walkie-talkies or something?
Not quite walkie-talkies, but they do have this sophisticated signaling system using molecules called cytokines. These cytokines are kind of like messengers carrying instructions between cells.
Cytokines. So they're like the postal service of the immune system, delivering, messages throughout the body.
That's a good analogy. And just like the postal service, there are, different types of messengers for different purposes. You have interleukins, which are often involved in communication between, white blood cells, interferons, which help protect cells from viral infections, and chemokines. Remember those? The breadcrumbs that guide immune cells to the site of infection.
Right. Chemokines and the clever little concentration gradient. So it's not just a, free-for-all in there. There's a lot of organized communication happening.
Absolutely. And that communication is crucial for mounting an effective immune response. For example, when a macrophage engulfs a pathogen, it doesn't just, digest it, it also processes it, breaks it down into smaller pieces called antigens, and then presents those antigens to other immune cells, specifically the T cells, which are part of the adaptive immune system.
Hold on. We haven't even gotten to the adaptive immune system yet. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Sorry. I get a little excited sometimes when talking about the interconnectedness of, everything. But you see what I mean about the, intricate dance. It's not just about the innate immune system doing its thing. It's about preparing the way for the adaptive immune system to take over and launch a more targeted attack.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. But let's stick with the innate system for now. You mentioned macrophages presenting antigens to key cells. So are macrophages double agents working for both the innate and adaptive branches of the immune system?
You could say that. They play a crucial role in bridging the gap between the two systems. They're like the intelligence officers, gathering information from the front lines and relaying it to the command center.
This is fascinating. It's like a whole military operation, going on at a microscopic level. We've got the foot soldiers, the intelligence officers, the communication networks.
And let's not forget the training grounds. Remember hematopoiesis, the process of creating all these diverse immune cells? It all starts in the bone marrow with those amazing hematopoietic stem cells that can differentiate into any type of blood cell the body needs.
Right, the HSCs.
Yeah.
Those multi-talented stem cells. But how do they, know what to become? Is there like a drill sergeant in the bone marrow shouting, "You become a neutrophil, you become a macrophage"?
Not quite shouting, but there is a complex interplay of signals and growth factors that guide the differentiation process. These signals can come from neighboring cells, from distant organs, even from the pathogens themselves.
So the environment is constantly influencing what kind of immune cells are being produce.
Exactly. It's a dynamic and responsive system, ensuring that your body has, the right troops ready to deploy at any given time. And the amazing thing is, even within those, broad categories of cells, there's even more specialization.
Like there's more. I thought we already covered the main players. Neutrophils, macrophages, eosinophils, NK cells.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Take macrophages, for example. We talked about them being the cleanup crew, but did you know there are actually different, subtypes of macrophages, each with its own unique set of skills?
Really? I thought a macrophage was a macrophage.
Tell me more.
Well, you have M1 macrophages, which are highly pro-inflammatory and very effective at killing bacteria. They're like the aggressive soldiers going in with guns blazing. Then you have M2 macrophages, which are more involved in tissue repair and wound healing. They're like the medics coming in after the battle to patch things up.
Wow. So even within a single cell type, there's a whole spectrum of specialization.
Exactly. And those different subtypes can switch back and forth depending on the signals they receive from their environment. It's incredibly flexible and adaptable. Okay, my mind is officially blown. It's amazing how much complexity is packed into something as seemingly simple as a white blood cell.
And we haven't even touched on the dendritic cells, which are like the scouts of the immune system, patrolling tissues and capturing antigens to present to T cells. They're crucial for initiating the adaptive immune response.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. It seems like everything in the innate immune system is ultimately about, setting the stage for the adaptive immune response.
You're catching on. The innate system is the first line of defense, but it's also the intelligence gathering and communication hub that alerts the adaptive system to the, specific threat and prepares it for a targeted attack. It's a beautifully orchestrated handoff.
All right, I'm officially hooked. We've got to dive into the adaptive immune system next time. But before we move on, I think we need to talk about one more important aspect of the innate response, something that everyone experiences at some point.
Inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation. We've covered so much already, like the physical barriers, the chemical weapons, the cellular army, these intricate communication networks. But there's one more piece of the puzzle I'm curious about, and that's inflammation. It seems to always get like a bad rap, but you're telling me it's actually like a crucial part of the immune response.
Absolutely. Inflammation is often, villainized, but it's actually your body's way of sounding the alarm and mobilizing resources to deal with a, threat, whether it's an injury or an infection. Think of it like a first responder rushing to the scene to contain the damage and initiate the, healing process.
Okay, so instead of fearing it, we should see it as like a sign that our body's actually doing its job.
Exactly. It's a natural and essential part of the healing process. Remember those 5 cardinal signs of inflammation: the redness, swelling, heat, pain, and loss of function. Those are all caused by, increased blood flow and the influx of immune cells to the affected area.
Right. It's like sending in the troops and all the necessary supplies to deal with the situation.
Precisely. And those chemical mediators we talked about earlier, like histamine and prostaglandins, they play a key role in, orchestrating this response. They dilate blood vessels, making them more permeable, which allows fluids and immune cells to leak into the, surrounding tissues. That's what causes the swelling and the redness.
So it's like opening up the floodgates to allow all those reinforcements to, reach the battlefield.
Exactly. And that increased blood flow also brings warmth to the area, which helps to speed up metabolic processes and enhance the activity of, immune cells.
It's like turning up the thermostat to create like a more optimal fighting environment for those immune cells.
That's a great way to put it. And of course, there's pain, which, while unpleasant, serves an important purpose. It signals to you that something is wrong and encourages you to protect the injured area, allowing it to heal properly.
So pain is like the body's way of saying, hey, pay attention. Something needs your attention here.
Exactly. Now, it's important to remember that there's a difference between acute inflammation, which is that, short-term localized response we've been discussing, and chronic inflammation, which is a persistent low-grade inflammation that can be, detrimental to your health.
Right. I've heard about chronic inflammation being linked to like all sorts of health problems. So how do we make sure we're dealing with the good kind of inflammation and not the bad kind?
Well, that's where, lifestyle factors come in. Things like diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep quality all play a role in, regulating inflammation. A diet rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids can help to dampen down inflammation, while chronic stress and lack of sleep can actually contribute to it.
So it's about like taking care of ourselves holistically to support our immune system and keep inflammation in check.
Exactly. And it's not just about diet and lifestyle. There are also certain medications like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, that can help reduce inflammation in the, short term. But it's important to use those, judiciously and under the guidance of a healthcare professional.
Makes sense. It's all about finding the right balance. But before we wrap up, I can't resist asking about one more thing. Fever. We talked about it briefly before, but I'm still a little fuzzy on why our bodies, do that to us. It seems counterintuitive to like make ourselves feel even worse when we're already sick.
I know, it feels awful. But fever is actually a powerful weapon in your body's arsenal. Remember how we talked about inflammation creating a more hostile environment for pathogens? Well, fever takes that to like a whole new level. By raising your body temperature, it creates a less hospitable environment for many bacteria and viruses, slowing down their replication.
So it's like turning up the heat to make things, really uncomfortable for those invaders.
Precisely. And it's not just about, making the environment less hospitable. Fever also boosts your own immune system. It enhances the activity of certain immune cells and speeds up the production of, antibodies.
So it's like giving our immune system a turbo boost.
Exactly. And there's even some evidence suggesting that fever might help to improve the, effectiveness of certain medications. So while it feels terrible, fever is actually a sign that your body is fighting back and doing everything it can to, get you healthy again. Of course, as with anything, moderation is key. If a fever gets too high or persists for, too long, it can be dangerous. So it's important to monitor it and seek medical attention if necessary.
That makes sense. Too much of a good thing can be bad, right?
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredible journey through this fascinating world of the innate immune system. We've covered so much, from the physical barriers and chemical weapons to the cellular army and the intricate communication networks. And we even explored how inflammation, while often, perceived as a negative thing, is actually a crucial part of the healing process. And of course, we can't forget about fever, that powerful, albeit uncomfortable weapon in our body's arsenal.
It really is a remarkable system, and we've only just, scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore, especially when it comes to the adaptive immune system, which takes this complexity to a whole new level.
I know. I'm already eager to dive into that in a future episode. But for now, I think we've given our listeners a solid foundation in the basics of innate immunity, and hopefully they've gained a newfound appreciation for the incredible work our bodies do every day to, keep us healthy.
I hope so too. It's a truly amazing system, and the more we understand it, the better equipped we are to, support its function and maintain our overall health.
Absolutely. So next time you feel a sniffle coming on, or you get a cut or a scrape, just remember there's a whole army of microscopic warriors inside you ready to defend your body from those pesky invaders. And they're doing it all without you even realizing it.
Pretty amazing, right? Until next time, stay curious and stay healthy.